CQ, this is Mike Zero, Alpha Uniform Golf, from my home station on the File Coast in West Lancashire, calling all members and friends at Pennine HaM for the Thursday evening digital net. And it's good to see all the regulars on this evening as well, and hope all is well. Over to you, first of all, Ralph. Kilo Alpha 5, formerly Echo, M0AUG, the group.
Good afternoon, more than that. KA5ULE here. Just sat down for lunch and thought I would check into the group early because somehow last week I thought it was at 2:30 my time, but actually it's 1:30 here. So now I have to get out or so. Other than that, not much. Just enjoying history in Mobile. I might take it out to test and see how what factor two, but I'm going to be running on batteries. See how it goes. So anyway, good evening to everyone there. KA5ULE.
KA5ULE and the group M0AUG, and thank you there, Alpha, and good afternoon to you all there. And sorry if we've interrupted your lunch with the time difference there. And good to have you on the net. Over to you, Lou. GAKJJ in the group, M0AUG. Good evening, Lou.
M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ. Yes, very good evening, Jeff. Very good evening to everyone else on the net and those listening. The WX in Nottingham, it's been a pleasant day, most of the time anyway. This morning was mostly sunny, 15 degrees Celsius, cooler than yesterday, a lot cooler, but this afternoon it started to go cold and there was some light rain. So I think the weather's definitely changing. I've spent very little time on radio in the past week. The good weather in the last 2 days has enabled me to get into the garden and do the jobs that should have been done earlier in the year. However, on Sunday, the 5th of April, I did work ZL2 THM on 17 meters on FT8, and that was quite pleasing. The other radio-related activity has resulted in another DIY antenna, but more on that on the next over. So back to you, Jeff. M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ.
KJJ in the group, M0AUG. Thanks for that, Lou. Yeah, the weather's been a little bit similar up here today. It seems it really went light rain most of the morning, and then this afternoon it started to clear up. So it's nice and fine now, blue skies, etc. But there's quite a good heavy breeze about at the moment. And no, nothing anywhere on the gardening. So yeah, not much on the radio, to be honest. I've got a few other things on just at the moment. Over to you there, Nick. Good evening again. G4IW in the group, M0AUG.
M0AUG in the group from G4IWO. Yes, good evening, Jeff, and everyone else on the net this evening, and good evening to those who are watching us live on YouTube, and a pleasure to make contact. We've already had Andy, 2 Echo 0 Romeo Echo Echo, just popped up on YouTube to say good evening to everyone. Anyone else on YouTube, if you want to just join the internet with your name and call sign, you don't have to, of course, but it would be quite nice to for other people to know who's there listening to us. But yeah, it's been another busy week in the household here. We've still got the 2 grandchildren here. They don't go back to school till next Monday. I think the parents have had a nice rest for a couple of weeks, and we're absolutely exhausted. I've only gone on the radio a few times in the kind of mid to late evenings on 20 meters and 40 meters CW. Made a number of contacts, but nothing terribly exciting in terms of DX at that time. So more on the next over. M0AUG in the group G4IWO.
G4IWO in the group M0AUG returning. Yeah, thanks for that, Nick, and greetings to Andy and the listeners on the YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy that this evening. Right, over to our friends in northern Germany, and thank you very much for the Easter picture that you put on the WhatsApp group. Yeah, one happy bunny. DL1BJW with DL8BDT in the group. M0AUG. Good evening to you both. Over to you, Mike.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Very good evening to all listeners and also on YouTube, of course, and all members and friends of Pennine HaM. Yeah, we are okay over here, but the WX is a little bit curious or strange. There have been lots of sunshine and temperature in the sunshine is quite high. The overall temperature should be something like 16 degrees Celsius the day over. But as you get into the shadow, it's quite cold. There are still some cold winds about. And as we discovered when we were on 2 afternoon field days, more of that in another over later, the WX could be quite challenging. Yes, that's correct. Then congrats to Lou regarding the ZL contact on FT8. Well done, Lou. And yeah, so far from my side for this over, passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Very good evening to all of you. Good to be here with you on the net tonight. Yes, from my side here, I can say it's good to have given just a try some outdoor activities during the last week, but I hope for a little more warmer weather when it's a little bit more comfortable to be outside and to build up some antennas there and so on. But it's good that the season is starting now, being operating portable. During the last week, I did some soldering there, and I've got a kit for a dummy load for QRP, which I'm just soldering now, and some other parts there, which is quite fun. So I have the microphone back to M0AUG for the group.
DL8BDT with DL1BJW in the group M0AUG returning. Yes, fine and out for you, and thanks for the update on that. Yeah, the weather's a bit changeable, and obviously we have the rally, the NASA rally over in Blackpool on Sunday, and looking at the weather forecast today for the district over there, it was saying there might even be thunderstorms on Sunday, so we'll have to see. I'm sure if we get there early enough and get set up, then it doesn't, as long as it doesn't stop people coming to the rally, that's the main thing. The weather is variable though, as you say. If you're in the sun, it's okay. As soon as you move out of the sun, it's very, very cold indeed. So very similar over here. Well, to you there, Bob, November 4 XL for Tango in the group. Good afternoon and good evening, Bob. M0AUG. November 4 X-Ray Alpha Tango. Good evening, good afternoon to those, some of you that are watching maybe on YouTube. The weather here has really been strange. We had a couple of days that were like summer days. However, the last 2 days when I came into my radio shack, it was below freezing. It was cold. And I don't care for the cold. I've had enough cold for this year. High. Currently, though, it's up to about 14 degrees Celsius, and that will be our high. It's not sunny, but it's clear here today. I want to thank Mike and Adriana for sending me that link to that video that you sent me of the village of my sister's married name. We went to that village, and of course, they no longer have a train running to that village for obvious reasons. So we had to take a train to a station that was nearby, and then we had to take a bus to the village, and then back to the train. And that was just before we visited with you. We got that train. I believe that our next visit after that stop was with Mike and Adriana. So there we go. The bands this week have been up and down. One day they'll be great, the next day they're lousy. And it seems like about every other day it's been happening to me recently. But at any rate, it keeps me off the streets and on the radio. Hi. More on the next go around. Back to you, Jeff. M0AUG with the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango in the group, M0AUG returning. Yes, fine enough, Bob, it's always good to have you on. The other regulars who are on this evening as well. And the weather's very, very changeable. And so we've got the rally up in Blackpool on Sunday, where Pennine HaM have got to stand there, and we're also looking after the stand there with the components for the GQRP club as well, as we did last year, and also as Nick and Ken did, and Rachel down at Newark as well. So that's what this weekend's going to be for us on Sunday morning. A nice early start, and hope we have a successful day with many visitors coming into the rally. We know that Icon as a manufacturer have got a stand there. And last year, the first time for Icon, in fact, and their sales director who I was talking to said they thought it was about time, as most of the people travel down to the rallies down south. They thought it was about time that they travelled up from the south of England to represent ICOM up here, and it was very well appreciated. Look forward to catching up with Sam again. Right, over to you, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango Group. M0AG. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Jeff. Good evening to all, or good afternoon to you, or anyone there on that side of the road. And good evening also to everyone on YouTube, to Andy, who is following this presentation or this net. Okie-doke, yeah. Weather-wise, well, today we had 24 degrees Celsius, which is an all-time record for today, for the 9th of April. Yesterday we had 22 degrees Celsius, which was also an all-time record for the 22nd of April. So with sunshine and so on. Tomorrow it will only be 14 degrees Celsius. So probably with some rain. This evening we are probably expecting some rain and maybe some thunder and lightning. So very, very special weather. Yesterday we took the advantage to go to the city of Ghent and have a lunch outside. Was really, really very nice. And last weekend we went to Leuven with a couple of friends, and one of the things we done there, which is maybe not relevant to amateur radio, but anyway, I think it was really very interesting because we visited a small company with a group of friends, which was doing the farming of prawns and shrimps, totally recycling everything. Was quite impressive, really, really impressive. So that was really a highlight of the week, I think, outside of amateur radio. So we really, really enjoyed that. And congratulations on working ZL. That's always a pleasure to work ZL or VK, but anyway, ZL is even a little bit further, I think. And also Adriana, very good there on the soldering. Yeah, very nice. Okay, back to you, Jeff. Mike 0 AUG, the group of an 8 November Tango.
Okay, November Tango in the group, M0 AUG returning. Okay, I don't know what, Jeff, yes, it's interesting when you go out and do something as an alternative to amateur radio. This obviously your journey last weekend was very enjoyable as well. So thanks for joining us again this evening. Right, up to the waters now, and we'll see what the weather's like up there as well from Keith. GM4JK's in the group, M0AG. Good evening, Keith.
M0 AUG in the group. Good evening, Jeff, from GM4JKZ, and good afternoon, Bob there, over in the States, and all our listeners, of course. Yeah, temperature-wise, well, yesterday we actually had 19 degrees and it was sunny, and the panel's fully charged our battery system, so that was handy. Currently it's 7.1 degrees outside, but a comfortable 21 degrees in the shack here so far. And congrats to Lou working ZL on FT8. I have actually tried out the new FT2. I downloaded the Decodium Shannon piece of software, and I find it quite interesting actually, because it covers FT4 and FT8, of course, and others. But my first contact, believe it or not, after just loading it onto the system, was into VK5PO. So I was quite impressed with getting out that distance. Got to go a bit more to equal Lou, though, that's for sure. And of course, FT2 is a very short duration, and it's interesting to watch the way the frequency changes and fades quite rapidly and then suddenly comes back up. Not quite like the FT8 frequencies, but interesting to play with, I must admit. So that was one radio-wise. Yeah, well, I've got the QMX Plus here, still in its unbuilt state, because I've only just received my anti-static wrist strap, which I ordered at the beginning of last week. My original one from my original work X years ago, having checked it, it was suitable for the bin, I think is the phrase. So I thought I'd order a new one first. But in the meantime, I've been the chief garden assistant, and we've been sorting out all the garden. There's quite a fair bit to do here of cutting down, and trips to the recycling centre for all the greenery, and problems with the mower, but more about that later on. M0AUG with group GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ in the group, M0AUG setting. Yeah, sounds like you've been busy with quite a few things up there, Keith, and obviously more to do. And finally, the anti-static strip, yeah, a wise precaution on that. So, before we start at the top of the list again, I'm just going to ask if there's anybody listening, either through GB7HX or anybody else wanting to join the Pennine HaM digital net this evening. Nothing else, so back up to Ralph at the top there. KA5ULE in the group, M0AG.
M0AUG, KA5ULE in West Texas. Not much else to add, just sitting here catching up on the news and eating some coffee, dessert, and fixing to go out for a walk. We'll be here pretty soon. So it'll be a good day to go out and do some walking. And like I said, on the first round, I'll probably take the 8-7 out here tonight at 7:30 our time. So that's all I have for this round. Great group of guys. Enjoy this net every week. And I just changed my alarm. Apparently you guys must have switched over to some sort of on your time, because you used to start at 2:30 my time, and now it starts at 1:30 my time. So I adjusted it. I won't miss next time. Back to net. Okay, Fabiola.
Okay, fine. You're in the group M0AUG returning. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we changed to what we call the British Summertime, which is the clock time then goes to 1 hour ahead of Zulu or GMT, call it what you will. So obviously that's why the time difference on here. And this is how we are till later in the year, and then it reverts back to winter time again. And so it's always there. People say, why don't we leave it alone and have one or the other? But that's a discussion that's been ongoing for many, many years. So yes, at this time of the year, we move the clock time on 1 hour. So sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, over to Lou for more of your news, Lou. GAKJJ in the group, M0AUG.
M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ. Yes, thanks, Jeff. And the antenna that I mentioned previously, which I constructed this week, is a box standard 70 centimeter ground plane. 70 centimeter ground plane. The reason for the project is to compare the Yagi antennas I use for satellite work with a simple ground plane antenna. The antenna has 4 radials angled at 45 degrees and a piece of 8mm copper tube for the radiator. I did model the antenna using EasyNet, and the SWR good across the entire band. I've mounted the ground plane in the loft and have used it on a couple of occasions. It works better than I expected, but if I'm going to use it as a comparison, I think I might have to do more tests with the satellites. The other thing that I've been investigating is how to get the satellite software, which is SatPC32, to work with Log for Old Man and WSJTX. It seems that I need a COM port splitter like COM-O-COM, and I wonder if anyone has solved this problem. I suspect Jeff will have a solution. I did listen to the ISS on the new antenna, and the crossband repeater was working during the 9:55 transit. It had a low elevation of 22 degrees, but the stations were clear on the little ground plane antenna, which was very, very, very pleasing. The 1309 transit was very clear on the ground plane, but then the elevation was 68 degrees. And of course, the crossband repeater was not working on that pass. I might have to disappear, Jeff. My wife has just told me that she's been trying to get in touch with her sister, and we're all in our 80s, and she can't make contact, so she's getting a bit worried about that. So I may have to disappear, but I do have a photograph if I'm still around, and it's the little ground plane antenna that I've talked about. So back to you, Jeff. M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ.
GAKJJ in the group, M0AUG returning. Yes, following that, and hope everything's okay with your wife's sister. Yeah, I know what it's like when you get to our age. We're both in the same position, and my wife's father, although not very well just at the moment, if he is still with us in July, he'll be 100 by then. So there we go. That's quite an achievement. So we've got all sorts of things going along as well. you try and ring and they can't answer the phone, and obviously my wife says there's a lot nearer than we do these days, and we're about 50 miles away, so it's not quite as easy to just jump on in the car and, you know, an hour away, etc. So that's how it goes, and hope everything's okay. Anyway, that's the main thing, Lou. If you do have to drop out and you want to, then just pop something on WhatsApp or drop me a text or something. But thanks for coming on anyway. Hope you're there when we come round next time. So, G4IWO in the group, M0AG, over to you, Nick.
Yes, thank you very much, and as ever, intrigued with Lou's little experiment there with the loft antenna on 70 centimeters. Unfortunately, I have absolutely shocking propagation on VHF and UHF from where I live here, and although we are high, some 200 meters, I think, into the air, the difficulty is that immediately surrounding the QTH here, I've got a pile of hills, and I've got one little direction that I've got some VHF takeoff from the location here, which is a bit of a shame. But of course, and Lou knows this, of course, from his playing around with the satellite antenna, it was great fun to be listening very simply to the International Space Station when they came over a couple of weeks ago with my handheld radio outside, and of course discovering that it was better not to be vertical, it was better to have the antenna horizontal, and of course you know, getting a range of over 250 miles, because that's the height it I think is going round the planet, and of course it would have been a bit further. It wasn't going directly over us, it was further over the south of England. So that just shows you, of course, what is possible when there is nothing between you and anything else on VHF or UHF for transmissions and reception. But enough of that. It's the weather here, I missed it on the last over. We reached 24 degrees yesterday, beautiful sunny day. Today the contrast is huge. This afternoon we were down to 8 degrees and it was raining, and we're currently at 5.9 degrees. But as Jeff has already commented, and I think we've got similar weather, the WX is very much, the weather outside feels a lot lower even than the received temperature because of the cold wind that we've got at the moment. And like Jeff, I think a number of us are very much looking forward to getting up to Blackpool for the Northern Amateur Radio Society's rally on Sunday, and that will be a pleasure to meet lots of people. In fact, although we're looking after the GQRP Club stall, Peter, GM0EUL, who spoke at the club a few weeks ago on the building the valve transmitter, and also about his little part-time business of producing small, tiny little Morse keys, the UMPP Morse keys. He dropped me a note to say, I'm going to come to the Blackpool rally, but I want to see if I can get a stand next to you. And of course, I said it would be a pleasure to have him with us. So in fact, we've got 3 stands together, Pennine HaM, GQRP Club, and Peter, who is also running a stand for CW Ops as well. He's involved with CW Ops Club, as well as promoting his Morse key business. So that'll be a pleasure to chat with him during the day, and no doubt we'll attract a few people coming over to have a look. We'll have our new club stand there, and that will be good to have that in the flesh at a rally for the first time. And we've got 4 of us up there, so apart from Jeff, myself, Rachel, M1AYG, and also Russell, G4ZRZ, is coming up as well from Reading. He's coming up visiting some friends in the northwest, staying overnight in Manchester, and jump you on the train in the morning to hopefully get to us before the rally starts on Sunday morning. So that should be very interesting, and I completely agree with Jeff. The fact that we've got ICOM UK turning up and putting up a stand, I think that's a very good initiative by them, and they are a very nice group of people, and their sales, or sorry, their repairs guys, the ones who actually do the work on radios, do a smashing job, as well as producing for you if you need odd little bits of components, and they've got them in stock. They'll send them to you almost immediately for a very, very reasonable cost. So it's a pleasure to have ICOM with a base here in the UK for themselves, and not just through one of the amateur radio dealers in the UK. But also a number of component people there, and people with antennas, and a range of clubs as well. So it's a nice rally, and one where I'm sure we'll make some new friends. So back to you, Jeff. M0AG in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO in the group, M0AG returning. Yeah, thanks for that, Nick. And like you, I'm looking forward to the day on Sunday. We had a good day last year when it was the first time that Pennine HaM had been to the Double Break Rally, and ICOM were there as well. We've got the same tables that we had last year for the GQRP and that, and then obviously the other table by the side of us as well. It'll be a good gathering as well, and it'll be great for Russell to be joining us on the stand together with Rachel and Nick. So looking forward to that very, very much indeed. So over to Northern Germany again. DL1BJW with DL8 to BDT in the group, M0AG.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Yeah, radio-wise, there was not much to report from my side, or is not much to report for the past week. I mainly got into FT8 and FT4, and I saw that there were quite a lot of interesting stations which I could receive. Here in PSK reporter, but really receive, and this were especially a station from H44, I think it's Solomon Island, something like that, and the Pacific, also in the Pacific, Samoa 5W, and they came in quite strong. But I could reach them. It was a little bit difficult to be heard, but nevertheless, when I looked into PSK Reporter, I saw that quite a lot of stations had received my signal, not answered HI, but they could hear me from California to Australia, but it was very difficult to reach certain areas of the world, especially the Pacific, and also the parts of Africa and of South America was a little bit difficult, especially at noontime, where otherwise propagation was relatively good on FT8. But not this time, not when I listened to them. Otherwise, there was in between the result that I got heard in FT8, the Antarctic at the von Neumayer station, German Antarctic Research. That was mainly, as most of the other good results, on 17 meters. So I noticed that especially in the late afternoon local time or the early evening, 17 meters seems to work quite well for me here. even better than 20 meters. And later on, when 17 meters closes down, the 20-meter bands fire up, so to speak. So it's something to do in the early evening, I think, and we'll see what this will bring me. Okay, so far from my side, passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, first of all, Lou and Keith, congrats to your successes to get into ZL and VK. And Keith, it's quite interesting because you used ST2, and there are not many users who running these modes, and therefore it's quite interesting that this worked. Yes, we both had two attempts to make portable activities during the last days. On Monday, we had been out at the North Sea, at the shore of the sea, with the KX2 and the short with the AX1. We tried to make some contacts there. We had been quite successful months ago during the last year, but yes, on this Monday it was quite difficult. The weather was good. It was sunny and blue sky, and it was quite warm, but at the shore of the sea there was quite a cold, strong wind there. And we heard several stations. We heard very clear and loud Indonesia, and also stations from the US there with this setup, but we didn't manage to get contacts. The only contact we made was into Russia there, but we tried on several bands, and there was nothing to do. And then it was so cold and so windy that Mike's fingers were quite freezing there, and therefore we had to stop and go inside and drinking a cup of tea. Yes, and yesterday we had another attempt here nearby. Near Oldenburg, there is a region where there is a dike inside, and where the conditions are always quite well. And we had been there static mobile, and I took my little True SDX with me and connected it into in the car, and we had a mag mount with a whip only 4 feet high with a coil underneath. And yes, we heard several stations, but at the time we were there was quite difficult. We saw that then there was quite high K index there, and therefore the conditions were not very good. But I managed to get into an SSB contact with 3 watts into Russia, and to a station which was about 2,600 kilometers far away, and this was quite good, but nothing else to do. So we have to postpone our activities to another time, but it was quite interesting. And yes, your Blackpool rally next week will be quite interesting, and we will see if we can see some photos there when you are at the stool there. It's quite good to be there with also the GQRP club and with the ham radio friend who has given the talk to us. So I hand the microphone back to M0AUG for the group.
DL8 VDT with DL1 BJW in the group. M0AG returning. Yes, fine, that back after. I'm sure you can probably gather that Nick and I are both looking forward to it, and I've no doubt that Nick will be doing some photographs, whilst we're there, etc. And it worked well having the GQRP next to us last year, because the guy from the States who was visiting came over and spent some time with us. And then, of course, Phil, UDU, and family came up from down south as well, and they also spent, club members, and they also spent some time with us on the stand, which was good. So we're looking forward to it, and there we are. And Nick's just put some live posting on the Pennine HaM WhatsApp group. It comes behind the controls of the live stream on the digital net there. So there we are. So, thanks for that so far, everybody. You've had a lot more interesting times on the radio than I've had a chance to do this week with other things I've got going on. But there we are, that's how it goes, isn't it? Over to you there, Bob, the M4 XL for Tango in the group, M0AG.
Man 0 AUG with the group, number 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, the other night when Nick was on CW, on 20 meters, there were times when actually I could pick out parts of what he was saying. However, we both could hear the same stations, but we couldn't hear each other enough to make a contact. Too bad. But we had a lot of fun trying. Hi. This morning on YouTube, I did watch the ISS relay. The bad thing was it was from a Spanish station, and I could only hear the ISS. I could not hear the other half. What I did notice, though, that got me, even though the woman was speaking French, at the end of every transmission she would say over. Of course, that's a military thing. It's not something that I normally hear on amateur radio. So that was interesting. Also, I've been, of course, as I was given a free membership to LICW, I have been looking at their group thing, which I haven't really figured out because they have the schedules there, et cetera, but I never can see the current day. I can only see the past stuff. What I was looking for was when Rachel would be on, and possibly I would tune into one of her nets just as a listener. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let me unkey and key again. POTA, my POTA results. This go around, I give my POTA results. And first of all, this morning I finally broke the 670s. I was 678 worldwide this morning, which made me very happy. Now, I've made 13,308 POTA QSOs. Now, that's all modes. Primarily CW, over 11,000 of them were in CW. However, recently I've been doing a bit of more FT8 to pick up some people that just work FT8 and never get on the part in CW or in USB. So I'm up to 326 FT8 QS contacts. Now that's not all, that could be the same part more than one time, but total parts so far I have 3,467, which means that I need 33 more to give the next award. And as Nick pointed out, it's like the DX contest, DXCC. The closer you get to it, the more difficult it becomes. But I'm working on it, and hopefully I'll get that 3,500 eventually. Like I say, I've been picking up a few extras by going to FT8, which is nice. A lot of the FT8 signals, though, they'll put out a call one time, and then So they never have to put out that call, the POTA thing again. So unless you have a list of the stations that are POTA stations, it's very difficult sometimes to figure out which ones are POTA stations. That's about it from me. I do have a photo tonight, and I'll do a little description on the next go around. Back to you, Jeff. M0AUG, November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango. November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango in the group M0AUG returning. Thanks for that, Bob. What fantastic scores you're getting in the poster. Very, very well done indeed. But I think you're right in what you say. The further you get up the pole, the harder it becomes. And so I just want to acknowledge your Steve Martin Connect at the bottom there, G4WJX. I'll call you after the next two people in the group have been on first. So over to you there, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango in the group, M0AUG.
M0AUG, the group, over 8 November Tango. Okie doke. I mean, in the first overall, Bob, you made me laughing because you say the ham radio keep me out of the street. Here we have an expression, ham radio keep you out of the pub, which my wife sometimes said to people, yeah, well, that hobby, that's very interesting because I never have to get him out of the pub. I know exactly where he is, so that's another way of looking to a CGI. Okie doke. Radio-wise, over the weekend I did some Echo Alpha RITI contest, but conditions were not good at all actually. I think I worked one USA station and one station in the Canary Islands, and all the rest was European. So and only working for 53 stations, so not very good conditions for the Echo Alpha RITI contest. One of the, I think Monday or Tuesday morning, I worked a VK, no, I didn't work, I hear, VK3 Fox Bravo on 70 meters and 3 dB radii, which was, exceptional. The S meter was not moving, was S1, S2, something like that, but he was Q5, senior to noise ratio +3, +4, something like that, so that really went very well. And don't forget, if you want to try your 70 centimeter ground plane, well, from tomorrow until Tuesday, I think the ISS is transmitting slow scan TV pictures on the 70 centimeter band. So that's the good way to test your equipment if you want to do that. So that's also something which is interesting to note for the coming days, I think. Okay, and interesting to know, Lou, how your experimentation about 70 centimeters and the Yagi, really interesting to see what is working out. Actually, I'm using my vertical, which is a V2000 or a V2000 from Diamond, to work FT8. FT4. FT8 takes too long time. I work FT4 on satellites, and that really works quite well. And I will send you a link, Lou, to how I figured out my thing. I'm actually using two instances of WSGTX so that you can see yourself coming down from the satellite. So as you are through duplex, you can see yourself down on the second instance, which is quite handy and interesting and fascinating, I think. The ISS this afternoon, very surprised that you also heard that French lady saying over after every over. That also struck me, Bob. I heard that station. I was mobile. We were doing some shopping, and I was mobile with the mount on the roof of the car and with the portable in the car, and I could copy her very, very well. That was about 11. That was about 11. No, it was about 10:30 UTC, 10:30 UTC, and actually 19 minutes later there was a second QSO in French with that lady with another school. So, and that also, we were still mobile going from one shop to the other, and that also was a 100% copy, no problem at all. Okay, this weekend, Blackpool, I wish you much of success, guys. The ones who are going to Blackpool, I really would love to go one day, but that will probably happen one year. You never know. And I have a picture. I have a picture at the end of the transmission. So I give the microphone back to you, Jeff. Mike 0 AUG, the group over 8 November Tango.
On 8 November Tango in the group M0AG, returning. Yeah, I particularly like the bit of the hobby keeping you to the pub there, Jeff. There you go. Yeah, very good indeed. Not heard no excuse before, but it sounds like a good one. It's a good reason to be a ham radio operator. So thanks for all the information on your activities and mobile as well, and with the space station. Over to you, Keith, the GM Project in the group, M0AG.
M0AG, the group GM Project KZF, fine on that. And yeah, interesting that, Jeff. I did, unfortunately, but yeah, I've got it ISS slow scan TV starting tomorrow. So we'll be having a look at that. Lou, I did build a little quarter wave ground plane, it must be about 2 or 3 years ago now, and I used welding rods, piece of aluminium with the corners just bent down at the appropriate angle, and obviously the 259 upside down in the, or SO239 shall I say, in the centre, and it does work quite well. I actually built it for 70 SEMs around here, and it also works on the 446 band reasonably well as well with the low powers for the community group. So and it's sitting on my windowsill in front of me at the moment, near the window. But I shall be listening on the collinear. I might resurrect a 70 SEMs beam that I've got down in the workshop, given the time. Bob, congrats on your score there. It's amazing. And 678 worldwide. Brilliant stuff. Keep it up. And look forward to the next set of numbers next week where you rock the 3500. You never know. The Noah saga that I had was interesting. I've got a reasonable workshop downstairs with all the spanners, etc., that one would expect, having 50 or 60 years worth of tools. But the mower spark plug beat me. It's recessed quite deep, and I've had to order another tool to get the plug out. It did run beautifully the first time round on the old fuel, but I made the mistake of running it dry, and I've either got a blocked carburetor or it's the plug is a bit iffy. But I shall find out, hopefully, by Tuesday, when the tool should be delivered on Monday next. The other thing I've been doing up here in the operating area, my workbench to the side, I've been reorganising that, trying to find screwdrivers, which are buried deep under everything else. I've now sorted that one out, which is good for the construction of the QMX. And an interesting bit of software I've found that you may be interested in. It's a free PDF piece of software called PDF Gear, GEAR. If you put in pdfgear.com, you should find it, and it gives you virtually the full functionality, editing, converting into Word documents into PDFs, and so on and so forth. I've only played with it briefly, but it's far superior than just using PDF Reader. So there's food for thought there. And what else? IG Worldwide Risky this weekend. 1200 Zulu Saturday to 1800 Zulu Sunday. And the exchange on that is the date you were first licensed. So I may be going in for that if the bands are pretty reasonable. And Adriana, lastly, SSB 3 watts, 2,600 kilometers. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Have to try 2 watts and then 1 watt and see how you go. But there we are. I do have a picture. It's a painting, and it was a toss-up between this or the infamous picture of the Earth from the Moon on the last set of photos that came down from the spacecraft. But more of that later. M0AEG with the group, GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ in the group, M0AEG returning. Yeah, fine on that, Keith, and maybe the ISS one might be good one for next week, really, perhaps. And thanks for the tip on the PDF gear. I've just downloaded that application, and we'll install it later. So thanks for that, and finally you've got a picture there. So just before we go to Martin, is there anybody listening through GB7HX or the field or the repeater who wants to join the net this evening? Nothing heard, but thank you to Malcolm for providing the facility of GB7HX, and if anybody's monitoring, I hope you're enjoying it. Over to you then, Martin, G4WJX in the group, M0AUG, good evening.
Yes, from G4WJX. I've been missing a little bit, as you've probably noticed. I've been on holiday, so when I disappear on holiday, I do tend to not go online or use radio. I tend to go quiet. I'm just checking I'm getting in because I've had a little issue with the rig.
Yeah, absolutely no problem there at all, Martin. Go ahead, please.
From G4WJX. Hi. I got back home from holiday. I've been up in the Lake District doing a bit of wildlife photography and just giving the wife a bit of a break. And got back home here and thought I'm going to load all satellite memories into the 9700 and for some reason I mixed up all the saves and wiped how to get onto terminal mode, so I was struggling to get back on, but just managed to get on. So I've missed most of tonight, but never mind. It's one of those things. Got my first radio-wise, got my first satellite QSO under my belt through SO50. But that was using the egg beater on VHF and a 5-element fixed beam on 77s that's pointing southeast. That's going to be replaced by a 77's egg beater in the not too distant future. So hopefully I shall be doing a bit more satellite myself. I'm very interested in the FT4 on satellite. That does sound interesting. So I won't go a big over this time because I haven't been doing a lot with it being on holiday. If there's a lot of pictures I shan't send one. I've got one that I took of one of the birds that I photographed up in the Lake District, but that can wait till another week if there's a lot of people with pictures to save it dragging on. Back to you then, Jeff. M0AUG G4WJX.
G4WJX and the group M0AUG returning. Yeah, no problem on your picture there, Martin. If you want to include it this week, we'll all be happy to see what you've been doing when you've been on holiday. And thanks for joining us again this evening. So there's only 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure whether Nick's got a picture. I'll zoom it out at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures if you have one, Martin. But we can take a few when we get down to that one. So back up to the top of the list, and I hope everything's okay with you, if you're still online. JKJJ in the group, M0AEG.
M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ. Yeah, I'm still online. In fact, the problem with my wife's sister has been resolved. Apparently, her son sent me an email, which I hadn't seen. I hadn't looked at the emails to it, and that explained the problem. So that's all resolved, which I'm very pleased about. I did miss some of the overs because I was down with my wife trying to sort out the problem, but not looking at the emails. Hi. Yeah, congratulations to Bob on his POTA score again. It's growing and growing. Well done. And thanks, Jeff, for your information. I will look at the ISS flow scan, and I will try this this little ground plane out. Yeah, the two instances of WSJTX, I'm not 100% sure how you do that, but no doubt, if you've got to send me a link, it will explain it. And yeah, thanks for that. And Keith, the ground plane, it's a nice little. I mean, I've used ground planes at HF on a number of occasions, but this little 70-centimeter one is all made out of scrap material, and I did model it on Easy Neck, and that all the lengths and so on, and it works quite well. But whether it will work as well as the Yagis, I don't know. And congratulations, Martin, on your SO50 contact. I've worked, I think I've worked a couple of stations on SO50, but I've not worked that many. I think I've worked 5 stations. I worked one, I think it was on Sunday, earlier in the week, but that was on the ISS, I think. But it's very difficult to get in on the ISS. I mean, there's so many people trying to call, and that causes the difficulties. I have a picture. The picture is of the little ground plane and antenna, and I think it'll be very similar to yours, Keith, in its design, although I've used different materials. I've used the copper tube for the radiator, and I think I've used aluminium wire for the radials. Anyway, thanks very much, Jeff, for hosting the net, and thanks to everyone for a very interesting net. As I say, I did miss a few minutes of it, but I've got most of it. So thanks very much for that. And I don't know whether you want to send the pictures a bit late, Jeff, but I'll pass it back to you to see if you want it now or a bit later. So back to you. M0AUG in the group, GAKJJ.
GAKJJ in the group, M0AUG returning. Yeah, no, I think now will be fine because there's obviously 10 of us on the group, and I think there's going to be 5 sending photographs. So let's make a start on that. So back over to you there, Lou. GAKJJ, M0AUG on standby.
Yeah, M0AUG and the group GAKJJ returning. Okay, I'll send the picture, and hopefully this will come out reasonably well. But there's no saying it will.
GAKJJ, M0AUG. We're doing very well till we got down towards the bottom there, so quite a few blocks. If you can send again, please, Lou. Back to you. 99% that's happening. The two blocks that are there are in the very, very bottom left-hand corner, so they're not detracting from the photo at all. So that's absolutely fine. So I'll just pass it around for comments, please. Over to you, Nick, G4IWO, M0AEG.
From G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Lou. Not quite 100% on the first take, now 100%. Looks absolutely smashing in the sunshine there. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Nick. And over to you, Bob. M4XAT in the group, M0AEG. The first time I did need a repeat, but you filled in most of the blocks, Lou, and the picture's fine the way it is. I'm missing one block in a critical spot, but it's on part of the antenna, which I know is what is missing, so don't send it again. You're about 98% here. Back to you, Jeff. And for XIT, are you quite okay with it coming again, Bob, or not? Back to you. I have enough of it. Like I said, I'm missing a block right in the middle of the antenna, but I can tell what's missing. So it's just one block in the middle of it, so don't worry about it. Okay, then, if you're sure on that one, Bob, thank you for that. And over to you, Jeff, and Oscar Romeo November Tango, M0AEG.
Okay, Jeff, I had a picture 100% from the first time, no problem at all. From 08 November Tango.
Thanks, Jeff, and over to you, Keith, the GM4JKZ in the group, M0AEG.
On GM4JKZ, I've got about 80% of it, but it doesn't detract from the middle of the picture, and no need to send it again, Lou. I think the problem could be my receiving antenna for the Wi-Fi, for the internet rather. It was damaged in the winds, and it spent an evening bashing around against a brick wall with water inside it, so that could be my problem. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks for that, Keith. I'll just skip over Nick for the moment, and do you want to send your picture now, please, Bob? November 4XL Alpha Tango in the group, M0AEG. First of all, thank you very much for running a nice net. I always look forward to these nets every week. Tonight, my picture is a bit different. It was taken in 2023 from my cousin's living room in Upper Bishop Heim when we visited them. And the picture isn't great, but their home overlooks Upper Bishop Heim, so you can actually see in the background, you can see it. Like I say, it isn't a marvelous picture, but it's one I thought would be nice to stand by. And for XIT in the group, M0AEG. Yeah, there's a couple of blocks on the distance on the hill in the background there, Bob. It doesn't distract from the photograph, so I don't need it sending again on my account. 99% though. Over to you, Nick.
0AEG in the group G4IWO. Yeah, 98% here. Lovely picture, and no need to reset. Over.
Over to you, Jeff. Oscar November Tango, M0AEG.
Yeah, it's 100% pitch perfect, absolutely perfect, very nice.
Thanks, Jeff, and over to you, Keith.
Yeah, 100% down here as well, up here, sorry to say as well. But it does look as though a pterodactyl's just run into the glass window.
Yeah, I think you imagine carry it away with you. Thanks for the comment there, Keith. Would you like to send your picture now, please? Yeah, Porsche M0AUG. Just 98% there, Keith. Do you want to just go again, please? Jim Porsche M0AUG. 100%. There's some action going on in that picture there, Keith. Yeah, nice picture to have, so thank you for that. To go around the room, I don't know whether the room is disconnected at all. GAKJJ M0AUG.
M0AUG, JKJJ. No, I'm still on board, Jeff. The pitch is great. It's not so good if you're on the boat, though. Looks as though it's going to be a bit of a rough ride.
And did you get this okay this time, Nick, G490? Thank you, and Bob, M4X18 in the group, M0AUG. 100%, and I should have that picture. I like that picture. I guess I'm going to have to get back to sending ships. Hi. Great picture. M4X18 M0AUG. I thought you'd appreciate that one, Bob. It certainly is a cracking picture, isn't it? And thank you for that one, Keith. And over to you for your comments, Jeff. 08NT M0AUG.
100% copy of that picture, and a very, very nice picture indeed. I really like that. I like ships too.
Okay then, Martin. Those are what I've done before. Do you want to send your picture back to you?
Yeah, from G4WJX. Yes, I can send mine in a sec. Let me just get into the relevant mode. This is a photo that I took while I was on holiday of a bird called a dipper that was on the river that runs by through Keswick, so I'll send it now.
2 blocks on the 3rd row from the bottom. It's such a nice picture. Would you send it again, please, Martin?
No problem, and thanks to Jeff Owen8NT for the link by email. So we'll have a good look at that later. Here comes the picture again.
Absolutely 100%, Martin. Thanks for that. I'll go back on the list in a different order there for comments. Over to you there, Keith.
From GN4JK, 100%, yeah, fabulous picture that, I must admit. Lovely and clear. And Bob, I've slapped the file on WhatsApp for you.
Well, thanks for that, Keith. Over to you, Jeff.
Okay, 100% from the first time. Very nice picture, and also the previous one, very nice.
Thanks, Jeff. Bob?
M0AUG.
That's definitely one that I'll download from my 705 to my Mac Air. That's one to save a beautiful photo. Beautiful photo. I certainly like it. And also thanks Keith for passing that one to me. Thanks, Bob. Lou.
Yeah, it's a great photo. I'm very keen on birds, and we do have dippers in Derbyshire. You can see them down Dovedale, but super picture.
Thank you for that, everybody. Now, I know Jeff's not been on yet, but I'll just go to Nick now, and perhaps if you want to do a wrap, Nick, and obviously send your picture as well, and then you can be looking after the transmissions and things whilst we go down the list and finish up with Jeff. So G4IW in the group, M0AG.
Yeah, M0AUG in the group from G4IWO. Amazing photograph, Martin. Come out exceptionally well here on the IC705. Yeah, lovely evening again, as always, and great to meet people. Next week's meeting, of course, we have Wednesday night at the club with Frank Howell, K4 FMH, who is going to talk about his suite of antennas for portable operation. So that'll be very interesting, and it'd be nice to get his spin on what he thinks is the most useful of those antennas, or whether he has decided he's going to use one after another, I don't know. So looking forward to next week's meeting. And I've got a couple of, well, actually I'm just going to send one picture. I dug out from when we finished the meeting with the Long Island CW Club, which we all enjoyed, I know. The original records produced by G3 HSC, and I've just put in a copy of the leaflet. Now the call sign which is on the letter on the leaflet I'm going to transmit here was superimposed by me just now on the 705, but the original leaflet advertising the rhythm method of Morse code that accompanied the three records that I've got here was produced in 1965. So this is 60 years old. So I'll just send that over here.
IWLM0AG, 100% there, Nick. That's a photo to keep, isn't it? Certainly is. I'll just pass it down to comments. Over to you, Lou.
That's a great picture, Nick. As you know, I've got the records as well, but I don't get them out very often. Go ahead.
Okay, there, Lou. Thank you for the comment. And over to you, Bob. 100%. And I get a kick out of that key compared to the string key that I used today. Hi. But 100% here. Thank you. Thanks, Bob. And Keith?
100%. Yeah, lovely picture there. M0AEG, Tim, for JKZ.
And over to you, Martin.
M0A. Yeah, 100%. And I was at Lou that mentioned the dippers in Derbyshire. Yes, that's where I normally go. This one was just nice up in Keswick.
Okay, that's everybody's contribution so far, apart from the master. Over to you there, Jeff. Oscar November 8, November Tango in the group. Thanks for joining us this evening, everybody, and thank you, Jeff, as well. And your picture, please. M0AEG.
Okay, Jeff. First of all, thank you very much for sharing the net again. This evening was a very interesting evening again. And to Martin G4WJX, congratulations on making your first satellite QSO NSO 50. Brilliant. And to Lou and to Martin also, I'm not using more than 9 watts on FT4 to working the satellites with my vertical, so that's more than enough to do that. And concerning the SAT32 PC, I tried that program, but I never get my head around to that, unfortunately, but could be my fault, absolutely. But I know that the inventor, the man who developed the program, DK1 Tango Bravo, on his download page, he has some notes about how to configure the 9700 to his program. So maybe there is some useful information in there also. My picture this evening, I sent the picture a couple of weeks ago of the antennas of Ostend Radio, the maritime radio station, of which they broke up the station near Ostend. There is still another station active, but the main station near Ostend, they just broke that up. And before they demolished all the antennas, the local Ostend Radio Amateur Club has the opportunity to activate the antennas for 1 day, 24 hours, which was amazing actually. Which was really one at a time chance to do that. And they used the special call sign which they get from our Ofcom, from our Ofcom. The call sign was Oscar Romeo 0 Oscar Sierra Tango Stroke Portable. So that was the station. And I have here a specimen of the QSL card. So that's the QSL card that they used for that event 10 years ago. So here is the picture coming. QRX.
95% there, Jeff. Quite a few blocks around the place. You want to send again, please?
Yeah, I will do. Few rings.
ON8NT.
Thanks, Jeff. That's 100% with me. I'll just go down the list to see if everybody else has got the full copy there. Over to you there, Lou. GAKJJM0AG.
Yeah, that's 100%. It's a very nice picture, and I can read the writing at the bottom, and it's what I aspire to. That's what I want in my garden. Go ahead.
Bill Mill. Thank you for that, Lou. And over to you for your comment, Nick, please.
Yeah, a lovely photograph. And I, of course, think we're all with Lou on that one. I've got a feeling that even my own household would reject that. I know they would. 73s, everyone, and lovely to see you.
Thanks, Nick. Over to you, Bob. Well, first of all, the Homeowners Association, I'm sure, would object, and if they didn't, I think Kathy would. But it's a beautiful antenna setup. I wish